Ida for arguing with my GF because she cooked me a dish I dislike. I, 21F, have always been something of a picky eater. I grew out of it somewhat and can tolerate eating most things now except one, bell peppers. I physically cannot smell or taste them without feeling almost physically sick. My GF knows about this as well. She really likes cooking and so she does most of it, while I take on other chores instead. Recently she made me a sort of pasta dish with bell peppers in it, which I refused to eat. Usually I'd just pick them out but they were chopped really finely. She got a little mad at me for that since she'd made the pasta by hand and was excited to share it with me. I did apologize and said I loved her cooking, but I simply can't stomach bell peppers. Every time I force them down I feel ill afterwards and sometimes I can't even taste them without gagging. She seemed okay with that and said she'd forgotten about my dislike of them, and said she'd remake it for me. A few days ago she made the pasta again, this time without bell peppers or so she said. I was a little suspicious of it just from the smell, and asked her about it but she insisted there were none. When I actually ate it, I was sure there were some bell peppers in it and asked her again, and she said no again. I was still cautious but chalked it up to me imagining things and managed to eat it. Once I'd finished she asked me how it was, and I said good, even though I didn't like it, but didn't want to be mean. Then she said she'd actually pureed the peppers and put them into the sauce, and she seemed really smug about tricking me. By this time, I was a little upset that she'd lied to me repeatedly about the dish. Yes, I managed to eat them since the texture was gone but I still dislike the taste and wouldn't have eaten it if I hadn't felt guilty about before. And I definitely wouldn't want to eat it again. So I admit I snapped at her a bit and told her it was wrong for her to try and trick me into eating the one thing I can't stand just because she was offended that I didn't eat her cooking the first time. She called me an awe because she'd put so much effort into making the pasta again and I wasn't appreciating it. I appreciate that she cooks for me, but there are 1,000 other dishes she could have made. Now we're both giving each other the silent treatment. So Ida,